Hey, it's the GOAT here, the greatest of all time, Clementine, blow your mind, one of a kind, super fan, sports travel. I'm in Sierra Leone. Leone, Sierra Leone, Lumley Beach. Beautiful morning, you can hear me. It's a Friday in honor of Barbara Wawa, 4 April 2025. Staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. Now the capital, Freetown, is over that way in the northeast. It's morning time, boys and girls. Oh, what a beautiful morning. It's 9:04. Now, if you've been watching some of my videos, I've been doing some teasers. Depends on which video you're watching. I got lots of them. About 52 hours detention in the Central African Republic. You might be wondering, what the hell is that all about? I never read about that. I never heard about that. What's he going to talk about that? How about right now? It's story time, presented by the greatest of all time, Clementine, blow your mind, one of a kind, super fan of sports travel. My 52 hours in detention in the Central African Republic. So, as you probably figured it out, it's in Central Africa, and it's what's called a level 4 by the United States Department of State Security, which means do not travel. It's right up there with all those famous tourist destinations, you know, like Russia, Venezuela, Syria, Iraq. Oh, I've been there, all those 4 places, because I'm the greatest. I've been everywhere. I've seen baseball in Russia. What? I've seen football in Iraq, Jack. I've seen hoop in Syria, and I've seen baseball in Venezuela, because I'm the greatest. So nothing was going to stop me from going to the Central African Republic. Level 4, please. So, here's the deal, Lemon Peel. Because I know a lot of people in sport, since I've been a sports travel dude since pretty much I was born, I had a basketball contact who gave me another contact. Another guy said, brother, can you get me a tourist visa on arrival? Sure, no problem. I said, I'm not a basketball scout, I'm not a reporter, I'm not a player, coach, an agent, I'm a tourist. But just, help me get a visa, brother. Sure, brother, we'll get you on arrival. He even sent me a copy of it. All right, I'm cool, everything's cool. Because the other thing was I had to mail my visa to Washington. I'm like, that's expensive, that takes too much time, I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna get a visa on arrival, great. So I arrive in Bangui, the Central African Republic. Everything's cool, having a good time. I'm walking along the riverfront. Imagine this is the river, not the ocean. This is the river. Just imagine, work with me, brothers and sisters. And on the other side of that river is the DR Congo. I went there later on the trip. I'm just setting it up for you. So I'm setting up my tripod, setting up my camera, and before doing those things, I asked for permission, not once, but twice. 2 different people. Can I come in here, A, and B, if I come in here, can I take a picture? Because it was like a little fence. And I'm looking around, as I always look around. I see any government buildings, I see any people with guns. Is this like a place I shouldn't be? Nothing, everything's cool. Beautiful sunny day like now. As I'm setting up my tripod, I haven't even taken a picture yet. A brother in military fatigues grabs my arm. I don't think that was a welcome to Bangui kind of grab. It was like, come with me, white boy. We got a problem with you. So I'm like, all right. I was cool. Now, you might be thinking, weren't you worried? Have I ever told you my story about Guinea? I want to tell that story now. So in November 2024, I was in another former French colony, Guinea. And here's the skinny. I was detained there too, but only for 4 hours. And they treated me nice. Didn't ask for money, no corruption, no nothing. They searched my bag, they went to my hotel. I was taking pictures, I didn't know there was government buildings. They said, let me see the camera. Okay, it's cool. Went to the hotel, everything's cool. Asked me a bunch of questions, cool. I got released. So I'm thinking that's what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna explain to them, I didn't intend to take a photo of anything military. Apparently in the foreground, I was trying to shoot across the river to the Congo. This is a pretty picture, kind of like this. Apparently in the foreground were military boats, which I had no idea. They weren't military boats to me. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll have a little conversation with them, things are gonna be cool. Here's the thing, something wasn't right, and I could tell. Next thing I know, I'm spending the night in this detention center, because I got detained like 3 o'clock. Sunset's maybe 6:30 there. So I'm spending the night in this detention center. Now let me just tell you, I was never handcuffed, I was never shackled, I was never physically tortured, I was never mentally tortured. In fact, the people was quite nice. But this is Central African Republic. This ain't Monaco. So my Airbnb host, he brought me a blanket, a pillow, food, and I actually could use my phone. I told him, like, brother, I'm in detention, can you help me? He actually tried to help me, and he couldn't help me. And he's in the military. I'm like, oh, we got a problem here. So I slept on a mat outside, little mosquito bites. But it was actually a pretty cool night. Although I wasn't feeling cool, I was like, something not right here. So the morning comes, and I'm like, all right, let me talk to somebody. There's got to be some simple problem here that we can solve, because I didn't intend to take a picture to get everybody upset. Well, I learned that the issue is with my visa. I'm thinking, my visa? So finally we have a meeting with the head of the general, who I'm told later is like one of the top dogs in the entire country. And fortunately, the U.S. Embassy was tipped off I was there by the dudes at the compound. They're like, U.S. Embassy, yeah, we got one of your own brothers here. You got to come down here. So the embassy comes down. They were great. And during a series of 4 interviews over 2 days, I was presented with a document which showed my visa application, which I didn't do, my friend did. A friend of a friend of a friend of a friend I know through basketball. And he said it was a basketball scout on my application. Oh, now I understand the problem. Because there's few givens in life, boys and girls. Here's one of them. I ain't no basketball scout. I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. I'm not an agent. I'm kind of a writer, but I don't even get paid. I just like writing because I like basketball and I like sports and I like to travel. And I'm definitely not a scout. So that's what the problem was. They said I was a scout. And then they looked at my itinerary going, if you're a scout, how come you're only here for 1 night? Because I was there as a tourist. So anyway, I had to explain this whole situation to them, what my plan was. I was just a basketball fan. I was hoping to see some basketball, pick up basketball while I was visiting, and then go to a waterfall and see the city. And I was a tourist. I wasn't a basketball scout. They weren't really buying this argument, even with the U.S. Embassy working on my behalf. But finally, through more interviews with the tour guides, with the guy who applied for my visa, with my Airbnb handler, with the embassy, I'm not on Interpol, I'm not wanted. But I had to stay a second night in this compound. Second night was not as good as the first night. The first night was VIP treatment, but VIP treatment in the Central African Republic, and not in Monaco. You had to pee outside, and I peed like a racehorse that second night. Why? Because I drank so much water earlier that day, because I was nervous, like, when am I getting out of here? There's no AC in the buildings there either. It's hot. Swamps are cooler, as my uncle would say. So now, I spent my second night, and honestly, my morale was not good going to day 3. But we had more meetings, 2 separate meetings, and my handlers with the U.S. Embassy are encouraged. They're thinking, it's looking good. I'm like, okay, but please don't make me stay here a 3rd night. I ordered dinner. I paid a lady to go get me dinner. The rules there were a little lax. I got the VIP treatment, so I paid a lady, go get me dinner and bring it back. Paid her the local currency. 10 minutes after I do that, this is like 30 minutes before sunset, U.S. Embassy dude goes, get your stuff, we're getting you out of here. Thank you, Jesus. Lady, you can have my dinner. Now, here's the definition of getting you out of here. Getting you out of here was not, oh, I can go to my hotel and be a tourist again. No. The government still had my passport. They had to do a little bit more investigating to make sure I really was who I said I was. They sort of gave me the preliminary sign-up because the Americans, the U.S. Diplomatic Security Services, have built strong relationships with the Central African Republic, as they do with governments around the world. U.S. Diplomatic Security Services is a branch of the State Department. So I ended up staying at this Diplomatic Security Services compound for the next, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 nights. Now, part of the problem was it overlapped over a weekend, and the government in the Central African Republic, they don't work on weekends. So I spent the weekend at this compound. I spent 5 nights in this compound. The good thing about this compound, I got food, I got beer, I got water, and they didn't charge me nothing. The bad thing is, I like to move, boys and girls. I don't like to be staying nowhere. And I was stuck on this compound for 5 days. Like, what is the issue? How long everything in Africa takes slow, especially in Central African Republic? But here's the good thing. The people there were nice. Now, the guards working at the Central African Republic at the Security Services Diplomatic Compound, which I cannot tell you the location, but it was in Bangui. They were all local people. Basically, the U.S. government had hired these people just to provide security to them. And so they all had guns, they were all trained, some of them spoke English, and they were friendly. They saw, like, wait a minute, we got a white boy staying here. What's up with that? Of course, they knew who I was. They had been told, we had a visa issue, we're going to get this thing fixed. But they were very friendly. They saw my morale each morning. try to keep it positive. They did have Wi-Fi at this place. It was kind of spotty. And I was able to use my phone in detention. I was never arrested, never shackled, never physically tortured, never mentally tortured. It could have been worse. I met some detainees there from other countries, other African nations, that if what they were saying was true, they had their phone confiscated, they were living in a cell, they had no food. So I'm not going to complain. At the end of the day, I'm 100% responsible for the visa issue. I should have clarified with my contact that, no brother, I ain't no basketball scout. You're getting me a visa on arrival as a tourist, right? Right? I didn't do that. So a tip for you as I finish this video. If you're going to go abroad, make sure you do your homework and do your details. Make sure before you take a picture, you look around, you ask multiple people, can I take a picture? And when you do that, you're still taking a chance, as I learned. But here I am, I survived. Freedom! 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 Hope you enjoyed the video. The lighthouse is down there. I'm walking there. You can't see it, but I'm eating a little rope-a-dope here. Even at 53, I still got stamina, I got energy. Now that I'm out of the detention center, Central African Republic. Hope you enjoyed the story. Got to go, Kokomo.